there are some complexities here that I think we need to consider quite carefully.
Yeah, and perhaps the biggest complexity of all was the impact of COVID-19 on the learning experience of these young people. And let's face it, the teaching environment for teachers.
Exactly.
So, difficult question perhaps to answer, but given that 2022 is not a direct comparator with 2019 in terms of the whole experience, where will we be in this process before we get back to a point where you could reasonably compare a year with 2019 and then reasonably measure progress or otherwise? Are we talking about next year, the year after, when?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I highlighted, I think there are some decisions that we need to take in relation to 2023. I mean, I think comparisons are not unimportant, but it's also important that we are cognizant of the circumstances that young people are facing and continue to face, and make the right judgments in fairness to them. Because actually, while I fully appreciate that the committee is interested in national comparisons, or comparisons between years, and making a determination on the performance, good or otherwise, of the Scottish education system, behind those results are individual learners who want to progress with their learning or want to go to university.
This committee has done a piece of work on the attainment gap, and what we were looking at was we have to, given the vast sums of money that we're being directed to tackle this issue, we have to have some measure, some indication of progress or otherwise. It's essential. So I repeat my question. Are we talking about next year or the year after, when we would reasonably be able to say, well, this is the progress that's been made over a 4-year period or whatever?
Just very quickly, my sense is it will probably take us a couple of years to recover here. We saw, as Fiona says, we saw a lot of resilience and excellence, and it's one of the privileges of my job is to be able to actually work with teachers and see the output of what learners, young and old, produce. But we also, it's very clear there were some areas of pandemic impact that that we listening in languages, or some of the practical elements in sciences, etc. And our view is that it will probably take a little while for that to fully recover. And that, I can't really put an exact on it, but that would be my
Thank you. That's helpful.
I think the only thing I would say is that there's a distinction between performance and the method of assessment. We've made some changes to the way in which we award, and that makes, and indeed the changes to assessment over the last couple of years makes that difficult. But we, as Robert has said, we may see a couple of years.
Thank you, Fiona. I think Graham was looking for a date or a timeline, and he got that. So, if you don't mind, can we move on to questions from Michael Mara?